The big thing this weekend about the NFL draft is that guys like Jordan Davis, Trayvon Walker, N'Kobe, everybody, I'm not going to name everybody, they did so well that I can already see what's going to start happening here, which is how can Georgia replace all these guys? It's really important to understand that those players aren't coming back. I mean, I think that's pretty clear, right? But Georgia's not without guys coming back. And when you take a look at what's coming back, they probably have one of the best defenses in the country. And folks are forgetting that already. It's kind of interesting actually, um, because the guys did so well in Indianapolis, and because they are kind of inching their way up draft boards. You're forgetting that Jalen Carter is going to be back. Nolan Smith is going to be back. Robert Beal is going to be back. That's a pretty good start to a front. And when you take a look at the secondary, you're going to have the return of Keely Ringo, this guy right here, by the way. Make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION down below before we have to make yet another book order. Keely Ringo, Chris Smith, there's a slew of players that are coming back. There's also young guys that, whereas a lot of y'all may know them in theory, probably not though. There's going to be guys that you need to monitor. Zion Logue is the one I've talked about the most. No one knew who Jordan Davis was 3 years ago. They just didn't. He wasn't important. He really became a phenomenon in the 20 season. But there were 2 years that he got to develop along the way that really nobody talked about Jordan a lot. I mean, you had the 18 season, he didn't play until, in a significant way, until the Florida game. 19, obviously, he wasn't a superstar, so to speak. Devontae Wyatt, the same way. That speaks to if you have gifted guys and you're developing them, you're going to have success. So there's going to be this notion that Georgia's lost everybody. That's the one thing kind of casual fans are going to get wrong this summer, spring, fall, whatever you want to call it. Georgia's still loaded up. They're not as loaded as they were. No, they're not. But they are still pretty loaded up. Again, I say it's the same basic group. I mean, Jalen Carter is probably the best player on the team. He returns. Nolan Smith is the spiritual hub, probably not just of the defense, but of the entire team. He returns. I think Zion Logue is going to have a good year. I don't think it's going to be a year that makes you forget Jordan Davis. It's hard to forget Jordan Davis. But Zion Logue is a player that, having watched him in high school and then seen what he's been able to do lately, he can replicate what Jordan did before the 2021 season. He can be a man eater. He can make people deal with him on the offensive line, the offensive line to deal with him. No, he's not going to command double teams the entire time. Definitely not. Robert Beal. People forgot about Robert Beal. He's Georgia's returning sack leader. I mean, sack leader. He is returning. That's a pretty solid group to start your defense with. When you start looking at the linebackers, and MJ Sherman is a guy also too that was coming off a knee injury a season ago and played in spots this past year. Well, let's just see what happens with MJ as we get moving forward. Xavier, the linebackers really at Georgia are guys that could be explosive playmakers immediately. And I'm only talking about guys that are returning. That I've not yet mentioned some of the younger players doesn't mean that they can't be special players too. Mikal Williams for sure could be a lot of trouble. Marvin Jones for sure could be a lot of trouble. I mean, Barry Alexander, I want to see him put it together. It's harder for me to know about guys who have moved schools a fair amount and are not from in-state, so that's problematic. In the secondary, I don't know what to expect from Malachi Starks, but I know that watching him play, he's one of the best overall athletes I've seen. He is not. I don't think comparing him with Eric Berry is out of the question. Eric was an all-pro guy. It's kind of hard to say that out loud, but Starks has as much athleticism as any defender I've seen since Barry, with maybe the exception of Brandon Boykin. I mean, like playmaking like that. So this is all going to get formed together to become a group that is going to be hard to deal with again. And if we've learned nothing else about this Georgia team and so forth, it's that their program, it's that they can develop so well. Keely Ringo didn't have to be developed in a big way, but he did have to recover from injury, and that's development. You look at this image right here. Obviously, Trayvon Walker was a guy I was a big fan of coming straight out of high school. Yeah, he developed, no doubt, but not like Jordan Davis, not like Devontae Wyatt. I mean, those guys, you just flip anywhere in this book, and there's a pretty good chance you're going to see a guy who's been developed. Justin Schaefer, obviously, but Justin is on the offensive side of the ball. So there are players that are problematic everywhere. I mean, you can see right here, Quay Walker, nobody even discussed a season ago. You can see Zion Logue in that image, Robert Beal. And those are not two guys that you think about when you think about Georgia's shut down defense. Those are not guys you think about. You think about, everybody else. But anyway, it's just that's what people are going to get wrong about this team going into 22. When they try to defend this championship, when they try to go, well, you don't defend championships. You either repeat or you don't. It's a different championship. But that's what people are going to get wrong. And it's going to specifically be about the defense. Yeah, they got a lot to replace. There's no question about that. I don't think it's out of the question to say they have as much to replace coming into 22 as Alabama had to replace coming into 21 on the offensive side of the ball. Well, guess who still played for the national championship? I mean, so I think you're I mean, Alabama's had back-to-back Heisman winners, right? I mean, um, 6 and 9. What is Bryce Young 9? I can't remember, but they've had back-to-back Heisman winners, and I don't know if there's an equivalent to that for Georgia, but the play I would need to go back and look on the last play of the game. The cover of DAWGSTRUCTION is a very good sampling of, and you can see it behind me. It's a very good sampling of the defense. All of the guys on the cover returned. Every single player on the cover returns. Jackson, Poole, Smith, Ringo, and Nolan Smith. They all come back. They're all starters. That's more than half your defense, or that's half your defense. You know, so um, that doesn't account for Beal, etc. So I think people are going to get wrong that this thing's just going to fall off the cliff. They think, oh, it's not going to work. They lost so much. Yeah, they did lose. They lost a lot, but they didn't lose so much that they couldn't repeat. They didn't lose so much that they can't win the conference. They didn't lose so much that they can't win the national championship again. Again, I preface that by saying they shouldn't. They are not the favorite. They are a team that, when you just look at things, yeah, they should probably go through the regular season undefeated, but this is supposed to be Alabama's year. It doesn't always work out like that. And we'll just see. Georgia's not going to rip off 5 national championships in a row. But I think what people are going to miss coming in this thing is how good this defense is going to be. Now, it's not going to be 10 points a game. No. But it's not going to be 20 either. And we'll see. We'll see if I'm wrong. You can play this back for me. Hey, check out DAWGSTRUCTION. Click the link down below. Thanks everybody for ordering that. We're trying to keep up with the orders. We're on our 3rd printing. So make sure you're getting in now while you can get into the 3rd printing before I go into the 4th. Hey, thanks for watching and supporting us. We'll see you on the website.